A lot of people name their cars. I've done the same thing, and this is him. This is Gerard, my car. I drew a little picture for you. He's a 2001 Honda Civic, and he is incredibly janky. I've had him for about 5 years, and in that time, the inside of the car, like the steel frame, has shown completely, like there's no plastic covering it. The maintenance required light and the check engine light has been on for maybe a year now. So, despite him being a literal death trap, in that time, he's kind of become a safe place for me. Driving, to school, I've been able to mentally prepare myself for school. Driving home from work, I've been able to wind down and kind of, let myself relax. And sometimes when I just needed to be alone, I would get in my car and drive. I would drive around the highway and sing, or I would go explore old neighborhoods with big houses. Sometimes there was this big patch of road up in the mountains in Farmington, and I would drive up, and it would be this incredible just outlook. I could watch the suburban desert down below and just think. It brought me a lot of peace, and it was comforting to have a safe place. And unfortunately, over the last couple of years, I've had to drive around and collect myself a number of times because, again, these last couple of years have been tumultuous. I've been pitched back and forth by reality. My brother came out. My father remarried. I told my dearest friend of 7 years, and who I thought was the love of my life, to never speak to me again, as well as other things. And so it's been a trying couple of years, and I've had to go back and back to my car to collect myself. This past year especially has been particularly difficult. I was living with my mother in a poor situation, and I was working more to kind of avoid the stress of home. And not being able to have, a safe place, a place to relax besides my car was really getting to me. I was starting to lose my mind because no matter where I went, there was always something needed to be done, no matter what. And so, luckily, I was able to find in this last year a single night of clarity. I was in my car. It was the 4th of July. I decided to spend it by myself. And so I grabbed a blanket and a Bluetooth speaker. I went and bought some fancy dark chocolate from the store, the bad kind. And I drove up to my Outlook. And I waited. I waited for the sun to set. I waited for the fireworks to start. And as I waited, eventually another car drove up. A couple got out. They opened up the back of their car and spread out a blanket and sat down and joined me, more or less, in waiting. We waited for a time more, and eventually a fire truck joined us. A crew of firemen waiting for their inevitably busy night. As we all sat, separate but together, waiting for the fireworks, a gentle storm began to blow in. There was a light breeze and rain, and the wheat or grass or something in front of us, gently bowed for the wind, and the fireworks began to start. The sun had set. I wrapped myself up in a blanket and turned on my music, and for the next 3-4 hours, I had peace. Now, that was one night in a very long summer, and it didn't do much to make the past days better, the future days better as well. But it was one night. It felt different. I felt in control of myself. I felt peace for a time. It's important to have these safe spaces. Like I said, it was one night. And as I've come to college, I found more stress. Rent, college, classes, homework. It doesn't stop, it doesn't end. But having a place where you can act as yourself, having a place where you can think or sing or yell and act without worry, that's important. And so even now, I find myself driving, singing, and fighting trampoline.